What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Realistic Criminal. This is episode number 48, and despite tasting defeat in the last episode against Liverpool, we taste defeat against them every time we play them. It was only our first defeat in, I think, 9 games, and we got it was our first defeat in 8 games, and then we got straight back on the horse, knocked Fulham out of the FA Cup, and got that winning feeling back into the side. One loss in the last 9 as we look to progress in all 4 competitions, including the Carabao Cup, which you will see us play our first game of episode 48 today. Crystal Palace away, 90 minutes away from Wembley. We beat them 3-2 in the home fixture, which is what happened last season. We beat Leeds 3-2 in the first fixture. We lost the second leg at home. Leeds went on to win the Carabao Cup. Let's hope we can learn from last season's defeat. We faced Palace for the 3rd time this season. We drew with them at home, and then we've beaten them the last 2 times. As we pushed a very strong side out there, I wanted to win this game. I want to get to Wembley. It'll be our second domestic cup final in the save after reaching the FA Cup final last season and losing to Man City. Hopefully we can turn things around again. And I just felt like leading the first game 3-2, if we can just get that opening goal, have a 2-goal cushion, I'll feel a lot more comfortable. Well, Sayankov had a decent chance early on, but his shot would be blocked before Taiwo Awoniyi found Alexander Isak, and the Swede, back in the side now from injury, fires past Guaita, and we lead 1-0 on the night, 4-2 on aggregate. And Guaita was an absolute thorn in my side in the first leg. Honestly, we would have been home and dry if it wasn't for the veteran goalkeeper. He made 8 saves in that game. Ridiculous tally. Well, his fortunes would go the other way this time. We would be 2-0 up. Taiwo Awoniyi, first an assist, now a goal. His header from a corner straight at Guaita, who can only push it onto the post, and it creeps over the line. And all of a sudden, Palace have a mounting decline. They need 3 goals. Well, Jeffrey Schlupp would test Henderson here. I did actually forget to put Jack Butland in between the sticks. He normally plays every game in the cup competitions before the final. I forgot to put him in here, so that's my bad. But going into the second half, and it would be a very quiet second half indeed. We controlled the game, and then Benjamin Farmer would find Renan Lodi, who would get his first goal since his return to Nottingham Forest. Love that for the Brazilian fullback. He goes off and celebrates with the away fans. We win this one 3-0, and we win the game on aggregate 6-2. And we are playing at Wembley. We're going to Wembley, and we've got a chance again for silverware. Our second chance in this save, 3 seasons in. We lost to City in the FA Cup final last year. We will now face Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final on the 1st of March. They beat Man United 4-1 on aggregate, and we will face the Gunners. It's going to be a tough game for sure, but hopefully we've learnt from our mistakes from last season. We grew and we overcome last season's disappointment of going out in the semi-finals. Hopefully we can overcome our disappointments of the final last season as well. Well, the final will be in a couple of episodes' time, but we reject a couple of offers. Obviously, we are still in January. Niakate, we reject a bid from Chelsea for him. Harry Maguire, we reject a bid from Torino for our captain. We do accept a bid for Omar Fernandez. And then an interesting one. You remember I said if a bid came in for Roma Pro, I would probably accept it, because I didn't. I favoured Richards over Pro, but I didn't put him up for transfer. That was the key point. Now, interestingly enough, the side that came in for him, Lazio, are the team we're facing in the knockout stages of the Champions League. Now, I think they offered 13 million. He was valued at 11 million, but I went in. I thought I could get a little bit more. I asked for 14.5, and they said yes. And Roman Perot, well, after being with us for a season, I just didn't feel like he fit into the side, and Richards, whenever he played, I just enjoyed playing Richards more. So Roman Perot goes to Lazio, goes to Serie A for 14.5 million. We have cover with Richards, so I'm happy with that. We do make profit as well on him. We bought him for 9.5 million from Southampton plus Harry Toffolo, so we make a bit of profit. The game says there we could have got 17.5 million for him. That's a bit disappointing actually. I asked for 14.5 and they accepted it straight away, so I definitely should have asked for more. I was just a bit cautious because I did want to make the sale. I was happy to see him go. Omar Fernandez has his move confirmed as well. We reject a bid from Real Madrid for Maxime Lopez. Our French midfielder is going nowhere as the transfer window closes. Again, like Awoniyi, I said in the last episode, and our other big players, if we don't reach the Champions League next season, the summer's going to be a tough one, because bids like that, I will have to not straight up accept them, but sit down and talk to the managers, like we did with Xavi in season 1 with Taiwo Awoniyi. Barcelona wanted the Nigerian forward. Couldn't agree on a price. But again, if we don't reach the Champions League this summer coming up, we are going to have to sit down and talk to some clubs, and potentially talk about selling players that I don't want to sell. But it's that is the brutal truth of this. If we don't make the Champions League when we've been playing it this season, some players might have to go. Anyway, heading back into the second game of this episode, and yes, it's a familiar look. 4 days later, and we're still in East London facing Crystal Palace again. For the 4th time this season, actually, we're undefeated against the Eagles. 1 draw and 3 straight defeats, including knocking them out of the Carabao Cup just earlier in this episode. Well, they wouldn't have taken that defeat lightly, and they turned the screw. They would get an early couple of goals. Jeffrey Schlupp, who I think is in a bit of form right now, he would make it 1-0 before a fortunate bounce leads them to making it 2-0, and we are chasing the game. Alexander Isak, after scoring our first goal in the Carabao Cup here just a few days ago, brings us to within 1 with a beautiful finish. Bar down. What a finish. He is pure quality. And then just 5 minutes before half time, he gets his and our second goal of the game to bring us level at 2-2. This was a game, by the way, I would have shown the league table, which I felt like I had to win. Palace were 3 places above us, but 5 points clear of us. So if we weren't going to win this game, a considerable gap would start to open up, and that's not what I want. So when we went 2-0 down, I was just fully focused on turning this one around, and Alexander Isak would complete his hat-trick just 15 minutes into the second half. Cyanko with a beautiful reverse ball into the Swede. A poor clearance from Guaita in the goal. He throws it straight to, I think, Maxime Lopez. And then we get to work. Isak bags his hat-trick, and we've turned this game on its head. 2-0 down, now 3-2 up. Isak has a hat-trick, and this guy is on fire. Having just come back from injury, he is feeling himself, and he almost bags a 4th here with 15 minutes to go. His shot beats Guaita, but unfortunately beats the far post. However, that would be the game. We would hold off. Palace pushed on in the last 15 minutes, but didn't create too many chances, didn't test Dean Henderson too much. And we would come from 2-0 down to win 3-2. A fantastic victory, a really character-defining victory. And as Isak collects the match ball there, we secure another massive 3 points. Honestly, huge 3 points. We are just feeling ourselves right now, and it's really good to see. That would make us, I think 1 defeat in now 12 games. And I think 9 or 10 of those have been victories. So we are on a roll right now. We're 13th. We're still behind Palace in the league, but we're 2 points behind them now. We've gained places on them, and we've gained ground on them as well. As Omar Richards, he's probably happy now that Pero's gone, to be honest. I've told him, though, that he is my backup left back. He will get some game time. Anyway, you would have seen there as well, Montpellier came in for a bid for Tanguy Ndombele. Obviously, the transfer window is closed now, so this would be for the upcoming summer. I wasn't opposed to this. Ndombele, he's a good rotation player for us, but he's got only just over a year left on his contract, and we signed him for free, so it'd be pure profit. Plus, he'd be going back to his native France. I wasn't against this if we could find the right price, but the Montpellier manager would not budge. I asked for 24 million. They came in with a 21 million pound bid. His valuation is 22, so at the end, I just asked for his valuation. I asked for 22 million. And unfortunately, we couldn't come to an agreement, so Ndombele will be staying for the time being. And the 28-year-old, I do like him as a rotation player. I'm a big fan of him for sure, so I was happy either way. As we look at the FA Cup 5th round draw, and would you Adam and Eve it, we face Crystal Palace again. It'll be the 5th time facing the Eagles this season alone. Wow, yeah, we'll have to knock Palace out of second competition in just a few weeks. But before that game, we face Villa in the league, 18th placed Aston Villa, just 2 wins all season, struggling massively. Nico Williams facing his former side. Obviously, we signed the Spaniard from the Villains this January window to replace Vega, who went to Real Madrid. And again, this is just one of those games where we have to win. We have to keep up this roll. We just came down from 2-0 down against Palace to win 3-2. A great away victory there. We must be beating the teams that are below or around us. Well, just 3 minutes in, Isak again involved. He is everywhere. He wins a penalty from Tyrone Mings, the captain, fouling the Swede. And Awoniyi would have the chance to give us the lead from the spot just 4 minutes in. Could he do it? Yes, you bet he does. This guy is clinical from the spot. 16 goals this season. He is chasing that back-to-back Golden Boot trophy. Well, I thought we would just crack on after getting that early goal and go ahead and win this game. Well, Danny Ings had different ideas. He makes it 1-0 after a piercing run from the Villa winger. He goes to loft the ball. It deflects off Henderson, off our player, and falls to Danny Ings, who is the fox in the box, and he levels for Villa. Sayankov would hit the bar with a nice effort after a good play from former villain Nico Williams. And then a massive tackle from Ryan Yates. Honestly, I absolutely love this guy. I've sung his praises enough in the last few episodes. Huge tackle for him. The ball falls to Awoniyi. He ball rolls past Mings, who's having an absolute nightmare of a half. And on his so-called weaker foot, smashes it into the far corner. And we retake the lead 2-1. And then into injury time in the first half, Awoniyi would seal his hat-trick. Back-to-back hat-tricks in back-to-back games for us. Isak against Palace, and now Awoniyi against Aston Villa, and we lead 3-1 at half-time. Now, this was an interesting one. I had to watch the replay to see what happened here. This made me laugh. So Nico Williams, I pressed to slide tackle. He tackles him with his head. He slides down and then tackles the guy with his head. He actually won the ball. It was given as a foul, and he got booked for it, which was a bit frustrating. But Nico Williams, honestly, that made me laugh. He gets a yellow card for that. And then Boubacar Kamara would get his marching orders, a straight red for an awful tackle. Maxime Lopez, so glad the Frenchman wasn't injured here. You'll see in the replay, the tackle was so high and wild. You can't blame the snowy conditions for that one, Boubacar. And Villa down 2 goals, down to 10 men. But how many times do you see this? How many times do you play the AI and they go down to 10 men and they dominate you? And this is what happened. I thought, all right, we're up 2 goals. We're against 10 men. We can really see this game out. Jacob Ramsey bags a brilliant goal, to be fair to him. But it came after Villa domination. We would have a great chance to restore our 2-goal lead. But Sayankov got caught in 2 minds. And then deep into injury time, the inevitable happened. Jacob Ramsey bags his 2nd goal in the last 15 minutes to secure just an unlikely point for Villa. 2 goals down, a man down, only 2 wins all season. They're sat in 18th, and they secure the draw. And actually, Dean Henderson had to make one last save in injury time to make sure we do get that point. I was fuming because I feel like the game, if the opposition go down to 10 men, I just feel like the team's better that you play it. I don't understand it. We're facing a side who are 3-1 down. They're in the relegation zone. They're now down a man. That should be it. That should be game. But unfortunately not. Villa galvanised. They came together, and Jacob Ramsey put in a couple of good shifts and scored a couple of nice goals to secure a huge point for Villa and a really damaging draw for us. After such a good victory at Palace, we now drop 2 points. And we're still 13th, but we could have climbed up the table. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It's just the story of our season, but I will not let that get us down. We're still on an incredible run, 1 defeat in 13 now. We continue to push, and we're now in it. We've secured a Wembley Cup final. Still plenty to be positive about, but plenty to work on as well. And that'll be it for today's episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, drop it a like as always, and I'll catch you in episode 49 very soon.